But she was saying people don't really explain what it is. But in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I should probably go in and get technical and brush up on what exactly is energy and why is this actually a real thing. But every time that I have visions come in of me doing that episode, it's never me explaining the technical details. It's me telling my real lived stories of how I know energy is real. There is no longer a single part of me that doesn't value energy equally as important as the physical. The physical, which again is just energy.
Welcome to Embodying You, a podcast of spiritual exploration where nothing is off limits. You'll hear raw, behind the scenes stories from people awakening to their soul's path and how they became the healers, mystics, and intuitives they are today. You'll also experience real-time intuitive sessions and healings where struggles transform into breakthroughs that you can bring into your own life. Along the way, you just might recognize yourself in the stories shared. This is Embodying You.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Embodying You. I'm Tiffany Hart, your host, and today, this one feels, at least to me, like it's going to be a little bit different because normally when I get on to do the podcast, I am very much tuned in, allowing it to channel through me. Even if it's not an Akashic Records episode, I'm still doing that. I'm still saying, give me the exact stories. And it's more of a, allow you to come through me. Yes, it's me here talking, but okay, allow the messages, allow the stories to come through that you want to come through, you being God, the universe. Okay. So today though, my goodness, just a little bit of astrology. And I am not an astrologer, but I am working with an astrologer. I am going to her for business coaching, but she infuses the astrology, right? So I happen to know that it is Mercury in retrograde. I'm pretty sure it's in Cancer, which has to do with family and home. And then Neptune is also in retrograde. And she said something very interesting on a podcast recently. And this is Oath Oracle, in case something about this is standing out to you and you want to listen to her podcast or something like that. Her podcast, I'll look it up. I'll put it in the show notes. In the podcast episode where she's talking about Neptune going retrograde, she specifically mentioned something about addiction, that there are going to be themes of addiction coming up. And I have seen this in my own life and in the lives of people that I'm close to. So I would imagine that also other people are seeing the people that either the people that are in their lives who have addiction issues, or the people who are, maybe they just know, maybe they know someone who has a family member or a friend or a spouse or any one of those things who has addiction issues. Okay. And oh my gosh, there's going to be so much combined today. There's going to be so much combined. I'm going to get back to that. But this is part of why I'm having this feeling of feeling spicy, because over this past week, it has been in my personal space. So while it's not in my home, it has been in my personal space and with people that I care about for one reason or another. I mean, there's the one side of I care about them because they're human, but then there's also I care about them on a personal level also for various reasons. So what I was told today is, rather than me really getting in and saying, okay, let all of the stories come through, just let me just be a pure channel. They said, you've got to come on and be human you, like Tiffany you, fully. Of course, the way that I have realized I've always worked is I receive stories and songs and things like that to share. So I have absolutely no doubt. I mean, I've already gotten some stories downloaded to me of tell this one, tell this one, tell this one. So we'll see. But the funny thing is, here's the circling back to the whole inspiration for this episode. I was speaking with a client who I just like fucking love. We worked together on some really hard things and some really fun things over the last, I don't know. Maria, shout out, because she has some testimonials on my site and on my Instagram. But I was told to reach out to her specifically to say, hey, what do you want to hear on the podcast? And the piece that really came out of it for me when I intuitively checked in was she was saying that a lot of people talk about energy work, talk about energy, but yet they don't really explain it. And I've been sitting with that. And I have gone in and done the research. I am a 1 line in human design. I'm a 1-3. So that 1 line is all about investigation, and the 3 is all about experimentation. So I go in, I dive in a little bit, then I have the full body experience of what does it feel like to do whatever it is, whatever my interest is at that time. And then I tend to investigate it deeper. So that now that I am following my intuition, that's how my energy works with me being a 1-3. Okay. So, but she was saying, people don't really explain what it is. And so in my mind, and this may have actually been what she meant, but in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I should probably go in and get technical and brush up on what exactly is energy and why is this actually a real thing. But every time that I have visions come in of me doing that episode, it's never me explaining the technical details. It's me telling my real lived stories of how I know energy is real. There is no longer a single part of me that doesn't value energy equally as important as the physical, which again is just energy. Okay. I find myself wanting to go in and explain, but I've given this explanation many, many times. I will just say this brief explanation. It's always the simple explanation that comes in every single time. This microphone right in front of me, I can touch it and it looks real. It looks solid. Same thing with my desk. You hear me knock? It appears solid. But we learned in school, even if you're 44, almost 45 like me or somewhere in that range, even back then, I learned in elementary school that they're not actually touching. They're just moving and vibrating closer together. But even between those atoms, those molecules, they're not even touching. There's this electromagnetic push against one another. There's like this pull push, right? You have the positive electrons and negative electrons, a little bit of explanations coming in. But if you want a deeper dive, I'm not your girl. I'm not your girl because it doesn't light me up. That's why. And I'm a manifesting generator. And so, I want to follow the fun. So all of that, nothing's actually solid. So what is it then? It's all energy. If you zoom in, they now know because we have powerful enough microscopes. If you zoom in all the way to the center of the nucleus, and remember, if you were in school at a time when I was in school, even when I was in college, I took a shit ton of science classes in college. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, which is so funny considering what I do now. But it's not the nucleus that's the center. It's not even the, little things. What is it? The for some reason, the word ribonucleic acid is coming in or ribosomes. Guys, I can't even remember at this point. It's been so long since I've actually studied the cell. But the point is, they now know using super powerful microscopes that the center of the cell is actually empty. It is empty space. It is not material. It is not this little solid ball at the center or something like that. No, it's empty space. What the hell is the empty space? It's energy. It's energy. Just the same as you are hearing or watching or whatever you're doing, you are receiving this message from me. How are you receiving it? Through energy, through sound waves, right? I mean, you can have ear damage of your physical body from sound waves. You can see lightning, which is electrical energy. You can see lightning and then hear it later in your ears. And you can even have a big moment where if it's a really loud crack of lightning, it just scares the shit out of you when it comes through, even though you know it's coming. I know you've all experienced something like this. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. So I am being guided. I asked, am I done for my rudimentary explanation of energy? And they say that I am. They always give me the sign when they're done. It's them kind of throwing up the arm bar. Okay, you're done. All right. So let's get into the stories. For me, this is what really matters. I'm a line 3 in human design. And so the experience, the human experience, the experience in my body, that is actually what lets me know what is and isn't true. And it's the same for all of you. It's just that it is so deeply ingrained in the way that I work in this world to experiment with things and then come and tell you all what does work, what doesn't work. And so let's see what story wants to be told first. Okay. We're starting with the trip that I'm going to take my kids on. Yes. Okay. I'm going to tell you the story just like I would if I was telling a friend over voicemail. I wouldn't leave out any details. I wouldn't leave out anything. And this is what they're showing me. In the last episode, the July Akashic Guidance, if you haven't listened to that, even if it's at another time in the year, highly recommend you going back to listen to it. Honestly, it feels like one of the most powerful, important, pivotal Akashic episodes I have done yet. Oh, it was so powerful. And in the middle of it at 28 minutes, there is this 9-minute clearing. It's 3 things actually. They want me to be very clear. We clear energy very powerfully. We reset the body, specifically the heart and the throat are reset. Not that there aren't other pieces that are reset, because light language, it doesn't, it takes care of everything. It takes care of way more than our minds could know. Okay. Then we call in beliefs and certain energy into the body related to money. And I've done this 3 or 4 times now. I'm going back and doing the practices, and they also give a couple practical tools. One of them is listening to that 9-minute snippet for 7 days or for 30 days imperfectly. The other one is journaling about exploring and healing your relationship with money. It's really, really profound. If there are any of you who have a negative reaction to a whole episode basically being about repairing your relationship with money, you definitely need that episode. Because the only reason we would have a negative reaction to that is because we have negative beliefs. We have trapped, incorrect beliefs of what money is. Okay. I believe that episode is called Money is a Lover. I believe that's what it's called. And I'm talking about your most attentive lover, the one that gives you whatever it is that you want. You want to go on a trip. You want to buy that outfit. What is it? You want to pay your mom's mortgage. You want to give to an elephant sanctuary in Africa. I don't even know if that is a thing, but my cousin is in Africa right now. She works at the Oklahoma City Zoo, and she's worked with the elephants. She's worked with the chimps, and she's in Africa right now. So I'm pretty sure that's why it came in. Okay. I did ask for a second, wait, where was I in my story? I asked my guides and they said, remember, this is Human Tiffany. So, okay. I do believe that I was starting to tell, I'm starting to tell the story of a vacation that I am planning to take my kids on in a couple of weeks. And in the July episode, I mentioned, well, they had me share a story that I didn't know I was going to share, but it's okay because, again, I'm an open book, about the intuitive debt that has been created in my life, but yet how I would not be where I am right now if I hadn't created it. You know, I went from only $8,000 in a student loan and a mortgage, that was it, to, I don't think I said this on the episode, but I think as of right now, I have about $53,000 in credit card debt and a personal loan. And this is insane for me. If you all knew me, you would, but it's done a lot for me. It's given me a lot of perspective. So I'm grounding and centering myself because I'm having self-judgment come up. I'm having both fear of being judged, but yet also knowing that there are going to be many of you who resonate with this. But here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. It was really interesting to have already healed my relationship with money so much before I started intuitively creating the debt. I say intuitively because it would be when my soul would really call for me to work with someone, be coached with them, or do a course, or to go on a certain trip. Maybe my soul was really pulling me to go somewhere. And only if it was very, very strong and I didn't actually have the cash at hand, I would put it on the credit card. And I kept not feeling the energy to pay it off, just not feeling it, not feeling it, not feeling it. And what ended up happening, and what they've told me over and over again, is my belief in myself and the importance of what my soul is here for was not strong enough to motivate me to work on my business with true gusto, with this true giving it a real, as I say, the college try, giving it everything that I have, giving it my heart, because all my mind was thinking is, oh, I need to make more money so that I can transition to this being my full-time job. That was what was in my mind. But that wasn't enough to motivate me. Money in and of itself has never been a huge motivator for me, although I love to have it. I mean, I think we all do if we are really honest with ourselves, you know? And so, so intuitively creating this debt and having the minimum payments where they were, it forced me to really start to look at my business and say, okay, if I don't want to do what I see other people do, like for example, if I don't want to have to go out and get a second job making minimum wage, or I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much I could get at a second job, but I'm just saying, if I don't want to go out and do that, or Uber, or do Lyft, or whatever it is, if I don't want to really trade a lot of time for that money, then I really need to step into this business. I really need to give it everything that I have. So because I intuitively created that debt, created the energy of debt, that then energetically created the desire within me to say, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I don't, it is not in my personal soul path to file bankruptcy or to not make my credit card payments. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. I actually have no judgment about that. And I've had someone in my personal life who was about to file bankruptcy and they thought that I would judge them. And I'm like, no, feels like a breath of fresh air. When I look at your energy and how this is affecting you and the energy of money, no, this is actually amazing for you. So everybody's story is different. Mine is, I'm going to continue to make the minimum payments and do my thing until something happens where I can't. And if I can't, well, then okay, I have options. And even to settle my nervous system, I looked into my options if I can't make the minimum payments at some point. Every single month, though, every single month, I've been able to make the minimum payments and sometimes more. In fact, a lot of times more. But I had to trust. And I'm, in fact, being asked to trust again right now with money, with not only bringing it in through my soul-led business, but also through the things that I'm committing to, And so though I didn't know it as I was doing those things, all of that debt is actually such a fucking gift, because I would not be where I am right now. I would be a good 10 years behind where I am right now, because I would have kept saying no over and over and over again. And by the way, you can intuitively look in. If there's something that you're thinking about doing, even if it's a single session with someone, or it's a certain trip or whatever it is, you can ask yourself, you can ask your intuition, you can ask, okay, what will the timeline jump be if I do this? What will I learn from this, and how does it relate to my soul path? These are things I do for myself and things that I do for my clients. because everything that comes up in your life is related to your soul purpose, to your soul path. We just have learned to say no so often. So there's that. That feels like that's closed. So now they're bringing me to the trip, the vacation. Okay. Laying the groundwork for where I am financially and also having so many financial wins. I mean, I have 3 clients in Unveiled right now. 2 of them have committed to 6 months. One of them's committed to the next 3 months. But she's already done however many months before. She's done 6 months before. And so, you know, I'm having that's a huge win. I know, okay, no problem at all. Not only am I going to help these women transform their lives as has already happened, and this is through not ego, it is giving myself credit for the gifts that I've activated, but also I work through God and through the highest frequency and brightest, most connected to love guides. And I've learned so much, so much, so much. And so not only will our soul contract mean that they're going to have great transformation, right? I will too. And there's a financial exchange that now I can breathe easy. Until the end of the year for sure. I know those minimum payments are covered. Ooh, how cool is that? But would I be where I am now with these women in Unveiled if not for that debt? Would I have, apparently we're not going straight to the vacation. Would I have even taken a moment to ask myself, wait a minute, how is it that I have shifted so quickly? Because I had clients who were coming to me very occasionally for one-on-one sessions, but were not coming consistently, even once a month, right? Even once a month would be amazing if someone has a focus, right? But what I was seeing is, for me, even though we had a lot of similarities, there are a couple I'm thinking of in particular, where even though we had a lot of similarities as to the things that were holding us back in life, I kept going on a pretty steep upward trajectory. And now I see them still not quite where they were, but only in a particular part of their path. It's like I can see it right now. It's like they're inching along, inching. And when I was noticing that and going, okay, wait a minute, why am I changing so fast? And I've changed so fast and found my soul purpose so fast over the last, let's say 3 years, because that's when I started doing energy work on myself. Like really doing energy work on myself. The difference is I'm consistently doing the work on myself. And so it was because of needing to make these minimum payments while also knowing that I was sleeping on what my soul wanted to do in this lifetime and devote itself to full time. It's because of that I actually sat with why. The why was the consistency. And it's not just the in-person sessions, right? It's the work that I also do in between. It's what I call an Unveiled. It's the drop-ins. And by the way, Unveiled is not open right now. It'll be open again October of 26. So if you're here, we will start the first week of October. So you can reach out. You can go to my website and get on the wait list if you would like. Right now, it would be single sessions. And if someone does a single session, only then do they have the option to do the drop-in sessions, which is where on your own time, you're living life. I go in and I do a couple of follow-up sessions. It is a little bit additional, but again, you get the choice. But that's how I've upgraded so quickly, is doing longer sessions on myself. And then while I'm driving in the car, for instance, I feel something come up and I clear energy. Okay. But yeah, that's what made me actually sit, these debt payments made me actually sit and say, like, how can I actually help people, like really help them? And it was through consistency. Consistency. So that's another example of energy. When we talk about timeline jumping, I think we're all so used to, honestly, in our Western culture, and even if you think of Western medicine, we've been very programmed, very, very, very programmed. I mean, think about, anyway, never mind. That's a whole nother subject. But we have been programmed to have the quick fix. And so what happens is when we hear about a timeline jump, we tend to think of it as our whole lifetime line jumps and we completely change. But what I've witnessed in myself and in others is there's so many different timelines, you guys, so many different timelines. And when you're jumping onto another one, like it's already there. Here's the thing. You're not going along and everything in front of you is empty space. All of your timelines have already been created at different frequency levels, at different learning levels. It is so intricate, so detailed. And so it's already happening. So the way I see it, it is a literal, let's say you're on this ladder. It's literally, maybe you jump up 2 rungs, maybe you jump up 4 rungs. But what it usually is, it's in a certain thought process. It's in a certain idea of yourself. And of course, other things change, but that's part of why sometimes, unless we're looking for it, we don't always notice the shifts because we're expecting our entire life to change. But if that happened, it would wreck our nervous system. It would wreck our lives. I mean, we would, like, if you really want to have your life turned upside down overnight, then yeah, timeline jump every single piece of yourself to another timeline, no matter how amazing and cool it is. I hope you all are following. I hope you all are following. Again, I tried to sit down and really like get tuned in and get some of the spiciness out of my body from all of the things that are happening with me and some of the people around me in regards to the addiction stuff. But, so I hope this is making sense. And, if not, again, it's like, just pretend like you're getting a voice message from me and you're going to message me back, which you can totally message me back. You can totally message me back. All right. Are we now ready? Okay. I believe we're going to start talking about the trip now. So these are a little, I just think they're so fun. This has to do with signs and synchronicities, right? Which is the universe communicating with us. And so here's one thing I'll say. I haven't booked the trip yet. We are supposed to go in 2 weeks. And as I was looking at things, I'm waiting for a tax refund to come back. I'm trying to be really responsible with making certain payments and not even, anyway, I'm just, oh my goodness. I did calm myself a little bit because I realized that I was starting to try to explain this story on the chance that someone who knows me personally, who there's a specific someone who might judge me, might be listening. And the moment that I realize, oh, I am trying to explain myself in the thought that maybe this or that person's listening, but you know what? I am here for you all, not them. Right? I'm not here for the ones who might judge, although you could say that I am because I am activating something within them, something for them to look at within themselves. But what I'm really here for on a soul level is for you all of you all who are listening, all of you who we have a soul contract to. It could just be this. It could be the very important thing of you giving your energy to this space and me giving my energy to you, this reciprocal relationship, because it's true. Like you are giving. When I arrive here, I do tune into what do the people who are listening need to hear. And so I'm here for you all, my soulmate listeners, my soulmate clients, whether past, present, future. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help the planet raise in frequency. And part of it is this, through my podcast, through my stories, through whatever I'm led to share. So watch that in your own lives too. There are so many times where we don't even realize it, but we are over explaining, or we are up in our head with stories and feeling kind of flighty and scattered, which I realized that's how I was starting to feel. And it was because I was accidentally connected with this person's energy who is choosing, because of addiction issues, is choosing to try to find someone to blame. And right now I can tell that part of the someone to blame right now, it's me. It's me. Nothing personal. I'm just there, right? But I am taking in the soul lessons of the feeling, and the feeling of I've not felt this way or received the type of words that I did a few nights ago. And about, well, actually, I don't want to say the years because I'm not about outing anybody. I'm also not trying to protect anybody. Meaning like this whole thing about protecting the perpetrators, those of us, like that's what we've been taught to do, is protect the perpetrators. So I'm not trying to do that. But this is an energy I've not felt in a while. I'll just say that. But it is Mercury retrograde and it is Neptune retrograde. And again, Aisha Durrani in her podcast about Neptune retrograde, she talks about addiction, like themes of addiction are going to be coming up. So I just wanted to say that, but I am being brought back over to the trip. So let me tell this in the way that you all, my soulmate listeners, that you all need to hear this story. Okay, so when I do go on vacations, it is my preference to have the cash to do it, to save up. But I have been focused on paying off debt, and I don't have cash saved up. Okay. I do have a tax return coming, but it's not here yet. The energy didn't come in to file it until earlier this week. First time ever, also, that I've not filed my taxes in April, which is so perfect because now I have it for this trip with the kids. So here's what is happening. Last year, we drove, I live in Oklahoma, we drove down to Orange Beach, Alabama to go to the ocean. We've done an ocean trip in the summer every year since every year for a long time, actually. But with me, since I've been single, we did Hawaii 3 years in a row. And we went to Orange Beach, Alabama last year. I can't remember. It feels like we did something else in between another year, or maybe that's it. Maybe that's all of the years actually. But this year I talked to the kids, and it was between a mountain trip, which is what we normally do in spring break, or an ocean trip for the summer. And I just, everywhere that I looked, whether I looked in the mountains in Colorado or New Mexico, or I looked, that the whole Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, that whole, what is it called? The Gulf Shore, I think, just looking in there, nothing seemed to be lining up, not the places, not anything. And in fact, the one place that I finally found that was in budget, that was overlooking the ocean, because now if I'm already paying, don't even give me a place that's not overlooking the water. Like miracles happen, and I've had many miracles happen where I've been right on the beach and not paying an arm and a leg. And so that's also kind of my energetic standard now. If I'm paying the money and I'm going to be there, no, I need to be on the beach. And so I finally found a place. And even though I had my parameters in that it was a 2-bed, because my son is 15, he does not want to have to sleep in the living room. It was a 1-bed. Ugh. And I just don't even want to do that. Okay. So there's all that. And I had this moment of, oh man, but I thought that was the place. And there were no other places. And so then that opened up my energy. Okay. It opened up my energy. And I did start looking at California. I did start looking at different places in Florida also. I started looking at what it might take to fly there and realized very quickly, I cannot do this. This makes no sense. Even with the tax return coming back, this makes no sense. I'm committed to paying off debt. I'm committed to paying off debt. Like that's actually what my energy is leading me to. I want to say that real quick. I kept not feeling the energy to pay off the debt. And then all of a sudden, boom, my energy clicked. But because I was tuned into it and releasing any guilt or shame or anything like that that was coming up, I didn't get stuck in the guilt and shame and the spinning on, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Instead, it was, oh, wow. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, okay. Wow, this is interesting. All right. So I started looking up flights and I realized this is absolutely not doable. I mean, the cheapest I could find all in was $1,700. Okay. And that's flying from Dallas, even. And so I thought, nope, not going to do that. Well, next thing you know, things happen in a way where we're just not able to line up our schedules to go on vacation with my boyfriend and his daughter. And he starts looking around and he ends up deciding to go to San Diego, California. And we start talking because I say, oh, it's so funny. I was actually thinking about going to San Diego because I have a friend that just moved back there. And I have another friend where after I was thinking that, I see in her stories that she is in San Diego, California on vacation. And so there were these synchronicities. The energy is moving, the energy is coming in. But I've learned by now to not say to myself, oh, okay, this means I'm supposed to go to California, or this means I'm going to fly, or something like that. I mean, actually, I knew. I was like, hell no. I'd actually like felt a hard boundary with that. No. I'm not paying $1,700 to fly, right? Okay. Oh, and by the way, I do want to add in that even with driving, it ends up that I'm going to have to rent a car anyway to drive. So I want to add that in. I was already going to have to pay for a place. I was already going to have to pay for a rental vehicle. All right. So couple of financial things that were already set in place. And this happens a lot, by the way. When you start repairing your relationship with money, it's like the universe prepares you for the next step by you already have an idea of, oh, okay, it's going to be this much. And then there'll be a slight bump. There'll be a slight bump and you're being asked, am I going to trust? Am I going to trust? This happened my first trip to Hawaii. I was trying to find a place at $150 a night, found this amazing place on an avocado farm and people loved it. And they were talking about, pigs and things like that on the property and how they loved it. 4 days before the trip, I get a message. It was double booked on another site. He didn't know. The other people booked before me. My reservation was canceled. So the next day, I feel the energy come in to start looking for a place. And instead of 150, I saw a place for 230 something. Guess what? Right across the street from the beach. We literally just had to walk across the road and we were at a swimming beach even. So not even, just, okay, cool. And you could see people surfing in the morning and in the backyard on the lanai, which is the patio, in the backyard, it was the rainforest behind us. And in front of us on the front lanai was the ocean. And it was only a little bit of a bump. So pay attention to things like that with money because you'll be asked to do things like that. Don't stay rigid. Really, really feel into it. Actually, this is my personal experience. So make sure you tune into your own personal experience of what the energy feels like. Okay. All right. So back to, all the things are starting to come in around California. And my boyfriend tells me that he's going. Well, when we start talking about the flights, he said that he and his daughter were able to fly there. He said the total that I'm paying is about $500. So yeah, I'm doing it. And he said he didn't realize it could be that price, but he's flying from Tulsa. So any of you that live in Oklahoma or in that area, Tulsa is way cheaper to fly out of than Oklahoma City, which if you live in Oklahoma, you already know that, but it's even cheaper than Dallas, depending on where you go. So when he tells me that, I get excited. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So I start looking. In Southwest, who I have points with, because that's one of the credit cards, I have enough points to get me and the two kids to California, to the San Diego area for less than $500. And so, okay, all right, universe. I see that. I'm already having to pay for a place. I'm already having to pay for a rental car. So, and what I mean by that is if you fly, you usually need a rental car. So instead of it being, if I go to California, I'm adding on a rental car and I'm adding on flights, instead it was, I'm simply adding on the flights. Okay. So I'm emotional authority in human design. I sit and I ask for guidance and I ask for guidance. And the first thing I ask is, okay, am I supposed to fly? When I get the tax return back, I have the money. I would rather, be able to pay off more on debt, or I'd rather be able to do this retreat that I've been wanting to do for a while. But what do you say? What am I doing? What am I doing? So the day after I ask them, or maybe even the same day, that I say, give me a sign if I'm supposed to fly, I got 2 signs. One of them was so the job that I'm transitioning out of that I've had for a very long time, and I have an amazing boss who is anyway, this job has been really, really great to me. But at this job, I work at a law office, and we got in a bunch of supplies. And for the first time ever, we've used this particular office supply company, I want to say about 3 years now. They've never sent us any free gifts except for a cookie packet, right? The Otis Spunkmeyer, maybe they'll send us a couple of cookies in a packet if we spend $100. For whatever reason, this time they send a free gift. I open it up, I get it out. It's a backpack. And I go, okay. And I start looking at it and reading the tag, and it's made of recycled plastic bottles and eco-friendly and this and that. But as I'm looking at it, it is specifically made for travel, for you to be able to put it under your airplane seat. It's not your standard backpack. It's thinner and it can only expand so far. It's like this perfect rectangle. And it's made to fit under an airplane seat. Okay. All right, universe. So I laughed about that. I probably even messaged my boyfriend and said, oh my gosh, okay, listen to this. So then that same night, I'm meeting with my newest unveiled love. And as I'm talking to her about scheduling, she tells me that she works part-time for an airline so she can fly for free. Okay. So if the backpack wasn't enough of a confirmation, my unveiled client telling me she works at an airport so she can fly for free. Okay. I hear you, universe. I hear you. So then my question was, all right, then where? Where? Is it supposed to be California? It's supposed to be somewhere else? Oh my goodness. And so round about this time, my friend who moved to California, I don't think she's contacted me for about a month. She contacted me the same day. She messaged me and said, hey, I'm learning about this and about that. Boom, here's some stuff. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay, so funny. So she messages me. Then yesterday, I have my very first call with someone who I'm still sitting with my emotional authority, but I'm almost certain that I'm going to commit to working with her for the next year. She's an Ayurvedic practitioner, okay? But she also includes other things and with it that are some of my missing pieces. I know it's next on my exploration and my experiencing of everything, is I've been doing so much work on the energetic level that I kind of started letting my physical body go. And so I'm going to her now. So not only am I going to her for the issues with my skin, but there are other things too that have just started happening because you can focus energetic work on physical health But I wasn't doing that. I was focusing it on all of the things that are holding me back in life from having this soul-led business. Okay. So that's the main thing. Well, and my relationships too, you know, the things that are right in front of me. But my physical body was taking a back seat. So I have my first call with her yesterday to see if we're a good fit. And when I ask her where she is, because there's one of those old black, like wood burning stoves or fireplaces, it's the ones that's contained, and it's not a built-in. It's one that you install, and there's usually a black vent that goes up to the top. I trust that you know what I mean. But she had a fire burning behind her. And when I asked her where she was, because I was thinking, well, maybe she's in Australia or somewhere over there, you know, somewhere else where it's a different season. No, she's in California, guys. She's in Redwood, California. So there's that, right? Right before I got on here, as I was doing my meditation and my grounding before I come on to speak to you all, I feel the energy come in of I had not shared on an Instagram post of the July Kashik guidance yet. So I felt the guidance come through really strong of don't overthink it, just post. So I took one of the clips that I'd already downloaded onto my phone and I posted it. Well, afterwards, as many of us do, I got a little lost in Instagram just for a few minutes. All of a sudden, boom, I wrote down. So this guy, his account is called counting.countries. And he travels all over the world and shows you really, really cool shit. Well, as I opened it up, he's standing in front of this giant tree that's fallen over, and it looks like someone cut it so you could see it really clearly. And he's showing this section of the tree, and he's saying, this section of the tree took 35 years to grow. That's how old I am. But yet the tree was huge and way taller than him. And by the way, whenever he said, because I forgot, not everyone's watching. When he said 35 years old, I want to say that it's probably like a 4-inch, maybe a 4 or 5-inch length that he was showing. You know what? If you want, you can go and look at it. But basically, it's him standing in front of a huge tree. And he said, imagine how old this tree that fell down is if this much of it represents 35 years. And at the end of it, he mentions that he is in Redwood. What is it? The Redwood National Park. Hold on, it says it here. Yeah, Redwood National and State Park. That's where he is. And again, I already jaw dropped. And I said, okay. So yes, I'm definitely getting the signs, right? Meant to go to California. Again, are you following me with how the energy comes, the energy is happening? And I may be talking about it coming through signs and synchronicities. That's how I first started to notice it. Energy also is felt and comes in different ways, but this is what wants to be told. So then right after that, I see a post by someone. Her name is Lauren Williams Art. So I started following her back when I thought my soul path was to be an interior designer, to remodel homes and things like that. And by the way, I still do think that's a part of it. I mean, I made this macrame, I set up this whole thing. I mean, I love doing stuff like that. But she does this amazing wall art using, I don't know if she uses this exact material behind me in my macrame, but she just does this amazing wall art. And that's why I started following her. Well, a post from her comes up, and it's what I really mean when I say I'm going to my mother's house. So if you happen upon it, it is such a cool post. And I look at it and I'm flipping through and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I would love to live at your mom's house. This is my dream. I mean, there was nature, there was her in a big flower garden, there was her. I don't have a desire for a horse, but there was her with a horse, which again, just really brought fondness to my heart. I mean, I've done energetic work on horses, and horses are very receptive to energy work. So that is a lot of fun. If anyone has a horse that's acting up, come to me. I can help you. I have done it before. And so, yeah, she's flipping through and there's one of her in front of a pond, and it's just absolutely fucking beautiful. Okay. I just commented to show some love. I commented to tell her like, oh my gosh. When I did that, I saw somebody else's comment that said the captions changing was blowing my mind. And I was like, huh? So I look, and as I swipe through the pictures, there's a different caption for each picture. So I'm reading through and I'm loving what she's saying, because I don't always get caught up. If something doesn't hit me energetically, I just stop. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to read this. I'm sure you all relate. But instead, I read all the way to the end. At the very end, guess where she's at? She's in California. She's in California. And this is where my life has gotten to. It was not always this way. I did not always pay attention to energy. I often ignored my intuition, not knowing it was my intuition. I had some pretty big moments in my life that happened that really let me know, oh my God, my intuition has been right this whole time. And this was before I even really knew what intuition was, what it could be, how accurate it could be. I thought intuition was just something that some people are gifted with. And so when it was happening to me, I was going, oh my gosh, I do have intuition. Oh, cool. But we all have it. It's just relearning to listen to it. Because when you were kids, you knew how to listen to your intuition. You knew how to have fun. You knew how to connect. You knew that it didn't really matter if you went outside and played in the dirt and got dirty and messy. You knew that it was not a waste of time to play Barbies for hours or to do this puzzle in the way that we now think we can't have fun. But yet, like, that's another subject, like being blocked and having fun. But that's a story for another day, if someone wants it from what vague, you can't read my mind, but the idea of having fun we're so blocked from it in our society. And it is probably one of the most important things for us to get back to. That is what I will say for right now. I am going to say this last piece, but I'm not going to go into some of the details unless I do by accident. Because again, this is definitely Tiffany talking here and not... Yeah. I mean, aren't we all meant to live our human lives anyway? So why wouldn't it be Tiffany talking? Okay. So anyway, it's me talking is what I should say. The other thing that happened is that I had been leaving the container in my business, the unveiled container, which is the longer 3 to 6 month container, just open indefinitely, just open. And I had decided I need to close this up. I need to close it. I have felt into it enough by now. I started it in January, and I have felt into it enough by now to know that there's something about the quarters. There's something about, the fiscal year quarters. January, February, March is one quarter, right? So that's what I mean by that. The 3-month quarters of the year. There's something about that in this container. And so I decided this time, I am closing this until October. Whereas before, it was just kind of always open in case someone wanted to come in. And the motivation behind that, really, if I really look at it, is for the money. Now, granted, those of you who work with me, you know my heart. You know that when we are in session, when we're working, like, you get my heart, you get so much love from me. So, definitely no mistaking the scarcity around money that I am cleaning up and my love for my clients. That's for sure. But that was part of it. It was, well, of course, I'm going to love helping whoever comes in. And also, I'm going to keep this open for the money because I really kind of need that, right? Well, here's the thing that happened. As far as the one-on-one single sessions, no one had booked since March 9th. And I didn't even realize that. I was so focused on the client that was in Unveiled, and then there were two clients in Unveiled the second quarter. So the two clients in Unveiled after March. I was so focused on them. And then I also had clients coming in here and there, asking for drop-in sessions because, again, they'd already had full sessions. And so they were coming in for drop-in sessions, or maybe people were coming in for the mini Akashic read that I do, Unfiltered Truth. So I was having enough energy come into where I didn't notice. I energetically closed the door for Unveiled at midnight, July 6th, or I guess you could say 11:59 p.m., July 6th. I said, this is closed, closed, closed. Even if somebody comes to me and says, hey, am I too late? My boundary, my energy has to be a, yes, I apologize. It is too late for Unveiled. However, I have these options for you, right? Like that was what I had decided and what I was standing for. A mere 3 days later, so it closed on the 6th, on the 9th, I had someone book that morning for a one-on-one session, for the 90-minute one-on-one session. And guess what time I received her email? 1, 2, 3, 10:23. 1, 2, 3. To me, 1, 2, 3 is like everything's falling into place. Everything's falling into place. And it felt like a sign of, yes, Tiffany, yes, that's amazing, keeping your boundary here. Because one thing that you all might not know about me is I spent a lot of time in CODA, in Codependence Anonymous, really learning about the in-depth layers of codependency, because most of our society, even if they think they know what codependency actually is, they don't know and are missing the deeper, nuanced layers of codependency. So I spent a lot of time in CODA learning what it looked like to have loose boundaries, learning what it looked like to keep my boundaries, right? Like learning what it actually meant to have boundaries, and that my boundaries are also helpful for the other person, even if they feel like it's not. Me being true to myself, not rigid in my boundaries. Although in the beginning of my journey, I was rigid in my boundaries, because that's what I needed. But then I was able to be more flexible with them and really ask myself, if someone asked me to move my boundary, am I okay with this? And if it was a no, it was a no. And if it was a yes, it was a yes. Because what my body tells me to do, what my intuition tells me to do, is what God is telling me to do. It's what the universe is telling me to do. And that is how I get on my soul path the fastest. It's the same for any one of you. When you listen to your heart, when you listen to your body, whether your body feels expansive about something or whether you're contracting, pay attention. That's how you get and stay on your soul path. None of us are perfect at it. Not a single one of us are perfect at it. It is a journey, probably a lifelong journey of really, really, really getting back in touch with ourselves, our intuition, and our bodies, so that we can truly live the life that we are supposed to live. Like, we are here for our greatness. We are not here for mediocrity. We are here for our own personal greatness. And this is someone who, if you would have told me 5 years ago, I would actually be feeling in my power. I would be feeling in my purpose. I would be feeling a strength within. I would be holding containers of women who are powerful, who are successful, who are any number of things. If you would have told me I would be doing this right now, I would have caved, honestly. I would have caved, because I would not have understood how I could get here. I didn't understand, how can I get from there with such low self-esteem to here where I am now, with being able to lead with confidence. Is my confidence all the way there in my leadership? No, I'm learning it big time this year. This is my 8th year, my 8th personal year. So it's all about money, power, influence. So I'm really learning how to be in my personal power this year. I'm really learning the ways that I am meant to influence, the way my soul has come onto the planet to work within the world and to right my relationship with money, to really look at this material wealth realm, the physical manifestation of what can be received with money, whether again it's trips or donations or a home or whatever it is. You guys, all of us are here for our own personal level of greatness. So what the fuck do you want to do? What do you want to do? I ask you right now, what is one boundary you are setting this month? It might even be a boundary with yourself, could be a boundary with someone else. What is the boundary you know you need to set that you've been scared to set? Do not let fear be the thing you stand for. When I heard someone, it was actually Aisha Durrani, when I heard her say, when you aren't doing things out of fear, you're actually taking a stand for fear. That was so activating and motivating for me because I realized how many things I said no to or yes to out of fear. Oh. And you guys, ladies, gentlemen, we have very purposely had so much fear programmed into us in a ridiculous amount of ways. You have to tune into you. You cannot let the fear rule. I have released so much fear, and that is actually something that I do really fucking well in my sessions. So if you are done playing small and you have something that you have wanted to do that has been on your heart, and it might just be one piece that you have been needing to do that you just can't seem to get over this hump, I highly encourage you to come in for a one-on-one session. And then if you really want to amp it up, go ahead once that's done, if you're feeling it, and add on a couple drop-in sessions. I always recommend 2 to 3 drop-in sessions, but it's always your choice. You can do 1, 2, or a package of 3. But the fastest, most profound, like the way you're going to get to where you want to go even faster is through some sort of energetic practice. So you may have your own. You can listen back to all of the Akashic guidance episodes have practices you can do, and they all have their own individual theme. What I mean by even if it's just one piece, as I was having resistance to sending emails, I had to do energetic work on why I was having resistance to sending emails. As I was having resistance to doing Instagram posts, I did energetic work as to why I'm having issues with doing Instagram posts. And here's the thing with Instagram, oh my gosh, I'm posting so much more now. I'm just posting content that I feel is fun. There is still a tiny bit of a barrier that I can work on. That's the barrier between, now it's not so much what I share. I'm starting to actually feel like, oh, that might be fun to do. Oh, that might be fun to do. But now it's there's a little piece of me. Oh, it's a block. Ooh, okay. It's actually a block about writing. It's a block about writing, and meaning like writing something out. So what comes up for me, I'll think about posting it. Then it's like, oh, the caption. But the thing is, when I get in, I'm asking anyway, my guides, what do I need to say here? All I have to do is just start writing, and it just comes out. It just comes out. So even that doesn't end up being a big deal. And then there's another thing that comes in sometimes about, well, I don't have time. Well, I've been shifting that too. Like there's nothing more important that I could be doing right now than connecting with the souls on Instagram or in my emails who were meant to connect. It's the same thing whenever I go on Instagram. It can just be one little thing this person said or this person posted that stuck with me and really made a difference in my life. And so I don't know what that could be. Just like the people who said the little things they said, where this one little piece stuck out for me, I'm that for other people too. And you are also. I guarantee you, there are people out there who have at some point said to you, oh my gosh, whenever you said this, oh, it made me feel so much better. That's how we make a difference. That's how we make a difference. And we each make a difference in our own individual, amazing ways. Oh, okay. That is it for today. That is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Please do follow the podcast if you don't already. It would be even a bigger bonus, a bigger blessing if you also wrote a review or just gave it a review. That would really mean a lot. The more that people are subscribing and the more that people are leaving reviews, that tells their algorithm to share it. So if this has meant something to you, if this has helped you, I do ask that you please share it with people that you feel will resonate and be open to the messages that are coming through. Thank you so much. I love you.
If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe and leave a review so others can find the show too. Your support helps this community grow and brings more voices into the conversation. Plus, I would love to hear your biggest takeaway. Thank you so much.